simracingstreamers.com. Started off because I don't know if you ever saw the old WhoWas web application that he had. It was basically a listing of everybody who's currently streaming on Twitch in the iRacing channel that he had data for, so you could match up, Twitch streamers with their drivers and stuff. So, but his system stopped working at the beginning of this season when they introduced the new OAuth flow and stuff for the API. So I put mine out sort of as a replacement, but it's been developing. We should be listed, but we're probably in a practice. So yeah, look at that. There's me. I'm famous. I'm on simracingstreamers.com. So the idea initially for the main page was just to list who's broadcasting right now. So if you click on their link, it takes you to their Twitch page. If you click on their link, and you can watch their broadcast. Twitch page. It's a little meta because that's what we're doing. And you can watch their. But there's also recent events. So on everybody who's currently broadcasting, if you click on their recent events list, it brings up a view of all the races that they've done recently that we have data for. So if there's somebody else in the race, they show up too. So in this case, I did a race with Mad Bull Gaming 618 yesterday. But if you click on any of these VOD links, it checks to make sure the VOD exists. And if it does, it takes you to the recording of the race. And I have it set so that it queues up right to the start of the race pretty much. So you don't have to waste a lot of time like poking around in the VOD. And if somebody's been streaming for hours and they've done multiple races in that session, each VOD link goes right to the right point to the start of the race. So that seems pretty cool. And I don't know if I think that other broadcaster doesn't share their VODs. So like if you click on the VOD link and there's nothing, if either they don't record them or they don't share them publicly, you get a no VOD thing. And the mouse over text suggests that you actually go and ask this broadcaster or the streamer to enable their VOD so that they can work in the system. But yeah, I don't know if so this other guy does have a VOD. We'll watch, the beginning of their race. So that's kind of cool, and that's based on who's broadcasting live. But there's also this Event Explorer that you can click on, and it takes you to an interface where we've got the data about all the sessions that we have data for over the last 2 weeks. Or maybe, it's right now it's set to 1 week, just to keep it manageable. But you can filter it by the kind of races and stuff you're interested in. So if you're more interested in Formula Car or a particular series. The home page by default is based on the viewers, but you can sort it by iRating or viewers. We'll go back to that in a second. But so like this shows that same Ringmaster race. I don't know who's in these Ringmaster races, but you can sort them newest first or the most streamers. So this particular race had 3 people broadcasting. And it shows what their nationality and language and stuff is, just so, if you only speak Portuguese and you want to tune into something that's specific to that, that's available. But back on the main page, you can also filter it by type. You can group them by series so that it shows, segmented out. If you want to see multiple categories, they're additive if you add the filters in. So like all these guys are doing IMSA series fixed. These guys are doing Porsche Cup, etc. So you can sort, filter, and exclude things. So like if you didn't like IMSA for whatever reason or whatever, if you put anything in the exclude, then it doesn't show that in your results. So like last week when there was the Roar Before the 24, there were hundreds of streams, and that's great. But if it's not your thing, you can filter that out. And then anybody, whether they broadcast or not, can click on this My Race History. And if they have an iRacing account, you authenticate with iRacing. So if you have an iRacing account, it gives you this My Race History page. And like I said, you don't even have to be a broadcaster. It'll just show you your recent events and include any streamers that were in those races with you. So anybody can use the My Race history, whether they're a broadcaster or not, and get visibility into who races. And if you were streaming, let's see if you're in the data at all. Nope, you are not in the data. But if you wanted to be, you can click on this Add Me link, and you first authenticate with iRacing, and then you authenticate with Twitch. And then if you have both of those accounts and you're able to go through the OAuth flow with those stuff, then you would be added directly to the database. So there's total self-service registration. And yeah, by default, we show official races, practices, hosted, and time trials and qualify. But right now, nobody's doing time trials or qualify, apparently, or at least nobody's broadcasting in those event types. So those are the things. This unmatched not driving list, these are all people we have data for in the database, but I couldn't find them in iRacing when the system ran. And it runs every 5 minutes to check the iRacing session data and stuff. So most of these people are probably not actually in a session that they're still with, signed up for. If somebody goes to a race and then withdraws right away, they can end up in this.
13 minutes
or if they're doing offline practicing or whatever, they can show up in this list too. So those are people who are unmatched. Unlisted are people that we see in the Twitch that are currently broadcasting iRacing, but we don't have data for them. So if anybody's in this list, they're encouraged to click the Add Me and go to registration and authenticate themselves. They just, whatever event type they are. So if they're an official race, if they're a practice or whatever, they get aggregated into the system. So there's nothing special or different for the handling of the special events. And another cool thing, particularly for broadcasters or whatever who is in the system, if you go to simracingstreamers.com /your Twitch handle, so like Robert's Mania, it goes directly to your recent events. So you can post that in like your socials or on, your profile page in Twitch or whatever. And if people click on it, it takes them to the site, but with your recent contents. So, and like this guy who didn't have the VOD, you can still check his recent events. And that takes you to all the events that he's done. And then you can see that there's this other guy, and you can check their recent events. And so you can like surf around to find broadcasters or people who are streaming race series that you are interested in or whatever. I think it's a great way to discover more content and more broadcasters and stuff that might not have otherwise been surfaced easily. So that's been my recent project. Tell everybody you know.